Hello everyone, how are you? We're still getting somewhat set up over here. 14 games I should not have. And then, give me a second here. I'm just getting my notes and comments prepped. And this is 14 games. I think we're totally worth it. Perfect. Okay, here's the deal everyone. How are you? Let me pull up the comments for this live stream because that's a whole separate conversation over here. We gotta go ahead and do this over here. Let's see.
We can just
Nope, we can mute that. We don't need that. We need to go over here and pull this up. We're going to be right with you. Also, good afternoon. How are you doing? How are things? Let's mute myself ASAP.
How are you doing?
That's why I had to mute myself ASAP. Okay, we are currently on live chat, the great, as opposed to top chat. Excellent. We're going to put this Marvel vignette over here, have my phone over here for the comments, and then we're going to have over here for the two videos. So, here's the dealio. This is the story, this is the situation for those who missed it. Some of you may already know, some of you may not. But first of all, welcome aboard. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Thanks for joining me for this week's live stream. Pleasure to see you all, or to talk to you all. I guess I can't really see you as easily as you can see me. That's one of the downsides of the way live streams work. But anyways, pleasure to talk to you all. And this week's live stream is still going to be a Q&A. So, anything you want to go ahead and pop in as far as questions go, by all means. That said, I am going to be trying to prioritize the live stream I promised people for like 3-4 weeks now, which is I got a lot of comments on my two videos of the 14 games I went all in on that I shouldn't have, and then the 10 games I went all in on that I totally have no regrets whatsoever. So I got lots of comments, lots of questions. What about this game? What about that game? Why this? Why that? Where's Final Girl? Which is always a question I get on all things. Top 10 solo games. Where's Final Girl? Top 10 games I shouldn't have gone all in on, or should have gone all in. Where's Final Girl? But also, why's my phone? Phone, you can't stop the screen. Here, if we do this, if we play the video, but mute it, that should work. Okay, so that's the basic idea. So this video's conversation is going to be anything you want. You could feel free to ask me how my day is. You could ask me what the best game I played this week is, and I will still try to engage with those as much as possible. But I'm also going to be focusing on just going over comments and talking about all-in stuff and things. But as a starting premise, now that we've been here for a few minutes, as a starting premise, I did 2 videos on going all in and when I think it was a good idea and when I think it wasn't a good idea. I specifically did not title it Regret, because most of the games I don't regret going all in on. I think it was a bad idea. I think it is actively, I think I have too many bones content. I have more than I will ever need, and I will buy whatever they put out regardless. I will. I love too many bones. I don't regret it. I'm going to keep doing it, but I don't think I should. And that's the big differentiation of, like, am I actually benefiting from all the content that I'm buying, or is it just, feeding the addiction part of me? And so this is one of those many do as I say, not as I do conversations. And honestly, it's not even that. I usually tell people, do whatever you want, as long as it is not damaging to the people around you, yourself, your loved ones, your family, all that stuff. But if collecting makes you happy and you can afford it, do what you need to do. By all means, go for it. So, to that end, in the attrition of there are no inappropriate questions. Are board games mentioned in Yakuza? No, they're not. I wasn't into games until probably 2 or 3 years after I got married. So no, and even if I were, still no. But anyways, Kasuba, for those who don't know, is the marriage contract. It's the Jewish Hebrew term for the marriage contract. But anyways, and contract sounds too formal, but it essentially yes. Anyways, so as far as the games I went all in on, a big distinguishing factor is, do I benefit from the content or not? The games I think I was right to go all in on are those games that I have either benefited from the content already, or those that I think I still will, which is why some games weren't on either list. Games like The Witcher Old World, I don't yet know if it was a good idea. I like the game enough that I think I will play it, so hard to say for sure. But a big distinguishing line is, do I benefit from the content I'm buying, or am I just buying more content despite not benefiting from it? And to that end, I don't have any ways to go through this as far as specific comments I pulled out, so I'm just going to go through things. I'm going to read from here and read from here, going through all the various things, but Cthulhu Lets Me Die was one of my biggest surprise favorites. Yeah, 100% same for me. These are comments in the video I went all in on, and I have no regrets. Was surprised Too Many Bones isn't on this list. Maybe because Too Many Bones has been more of an accumulation over time versus all in one go. No, the reason Too Many Bones is not on the first list, and if you watch the second video, you'll see that, is like I said already, Too Many Bones is a game that I think that there's a ton of content for it, but every single character is almost an entirely new game, and I just keep buying all the characters, even though, like, I'll buy, a bunch of characters, and then maybe once a year I'll learn a new character, if that much. So I'm just buying the characters faster than I feel the need to play them, because every character has so much depth that unless you're playing an absolute ton of Too Many Bones, you can literally get benefit from having 4 or 5 characters and do that for years without seeing the amount of potential within the system. And then here I am getting Elder Scrolls, Betrayal of a Second Era, still, like, more games that would fall into the same time slot as Too Many Bones. So Too Many Bones, I love it. I do not need all the content, absolutely not. Haven't even tabled Oathsworn, still have no regrets going all in. Yeah, Oathsworn is in my video that I don't have any regrets on because of the nature of the way the content is implemented into the system. I'm also glad I went all in on Castle Burgundy. Yes, also Zombicide Ended or Alive, Cthulhu May Die. I also have all of Rise of Moloch. Yeah, that's a tough one. Unsettled, no regrets. I went all in on Nemesis Lockdown. So Nemesis Lockdown is an interesting, this is a comment from somebody. Nemesis Lockdown is an interesting one. The first problem with Nemesis in general is I'm not the biggest Nemesis fan. I have had incredible highs. The first time I played Nemesis, I was so thrilled with how well the game went and how amazing the experience was. I put out a first impressions video the next day. I was just like, I was like just over the moon at how good it was. You can check it out over on Quack & Co. It's like a 10-minute video of just my first impressions of Nemesis. But then the problem is, since then, I've had great games of Nemesis and meh games of Nemesis. Nemesis, for me, has been kind of a hit-or-miss experience, which honestly is one of the reasons I got rid of Cosmic Encounter over the years. Cosmic Encounter was once upon a time one of my top 10 games of all time, and over the years it left because it didn't always deliver a good experience. Sometimes it delivered a great experience, other times it delivered an okay experience. Nemesis, for me, in addition to the fact that I'm not the target audience for Nemesis, based on the fact that for me, it's not the kind of game I'm going to keep if it doesn't deliver consistently good experiences. Additionally to that, I just think the way the content is implemented, you could survive on base Nemesis for years. Again, unless your group is exclusively playing Nemesis, you can survive on base Nemesis without needing any of the expansions. I recently covered Retaliation, and there are some really cool looking expansions in there, but I just don't think you need most of those. Alright. I go all in on games I never play, like Final Girl Season 1, 2, and 3. Yep, that's that. Sometimes I have self-control. I finally stopped buying Marvel Champions. Finally. I'm not saying I won't buy more, but I finally stopped buying for now. What presents did you get your kids for Hanukkah? So that's a good question. I got my kids, I'm not going to try to remember all of them, but there were 8 nights. They got some t-shirts, some books. There are peripheral stuff. Some t-shirts, some books. They got a video game. One night we gave them each a video game that I think was tailored to what they appreciate in video games. They don't play a ton of video games, but they are on their tablet a lot, and I'd rather switch it to video games more. I prefer them. Just projecting my own bias into my kids because I didn't grow up with a tablet and I prefer video games. Then they got assorted toys. They didn't get Lego and Playmobil this year. We got a lot of Lego and Playmobil over the years, and it's always a balance of when you get more. I don't remember everything. There were a bunch of books. What else was there? There were stuff. There were more things. We give them a present every single night. It's not always a big present. Usually it's something small. But I'd say we probably spend around $100 per kid, maybe $150 per kid across, the 8 nights. So it adds up, but not a ton. I feel like I missed some chat here. This live stream, I can't afford to ever go all in, and it sucks. Easterlings Tabletop Miniatures, I'm sorry for that. But I will say, the feeling of it might suck. Most of the games, like when I did my videos, I got to 14 games that I regret going all in, and not regret, shouldn't go all in on. And that's from the games that I kept, by the way. That's not even counting the games I got rid of. And I can only find 10 that I think are actually a good choice. There are a bunch in the question mark period. I think you had Marvel Zombies and your no regrets all backing, and I've just got mine. I have a group set up to try and play all the missions. What game are you most looking forward to trying all the content? Cthulhu May Die Season 3 and 4, absolutely. Maybe Agamonia, that should be coming soon. I'm excited about that one. Primal, The Awakening. There are a bunch of games I'm optimistic about. But Zombicide in general is a game that I may not get to it all right away, but history has shown that I do get to a lot of it. I find buying extra content for characters to give others options more than myself. I agree to an extent. It's only Too Many Bones that I find Too Many Bones. I'm not saying I wouldn't want 8 characters, but I have 16, and I'll buy another 4 more tomorrow if they sell them. Which publisher do you feel the... I read your second sentence before the first. Your second sentence was, ignore my awkward phrasing of that question. And then I read your first sentence, which publisher do you feel the most comfortable going all in with? I hear ya. Come on, every single time, come on. Whether I keep them, one of the things people pointed out, if you look at the most common publisher on the games I regret going all in on, it's Come On. If you look at my most common publisher for games I'm happy I went all in on, it's Come On. There may be a trend there, but ultimately, and also they hold their value. To me, Nemesis is just okay. So, Joe, it's interesting. To me, it's not just okay. It gives you either very great experiences or very okay experiences. But even so, that's not enough for me to, double down on it. I went all in on Bardsung. Yeah, so did I. Bardsung did not hold up. Tabletop Foundry. I just went, and that's another thing, by the way. In general, the videos were only counting games that I liked. That's the default. Games I got rid of was not part of the videos. This was, even once I like you, do I regret going all in, or do I think I should go all in on? My biggest issue with Kickstarters is a big overabundance of miniatures. Yeah, I hear that. I think there is a big abundance of miniatures, and that's something you have to know for yourself whether you're going to table them. King of Average recently just talked about in a video series about how he feels the big box games are not staying as long as they used to, and I agree with him. I'm getting rid of all my Nemesis. I'm getting rid of my Zombicide, Undead or Alive. I'm getting rid of and that's only because the season's coming in. But nonetheless, even though, and again, I'll get my money back for it. I'm not worried about that. There's a reason I'm willing to make certain choices the way I do. But ultimately, at the end of the day, there are some big box games that I'm like, you know what, you're great, but there's too many campaign games, there's too many narrative games, there's too many dungeon crawlers. And so even if I like you as a game, going all in on this much content and then being like, hey, you know, move over, or this one something new is in town, that's just a hard choice. You have to know yourself, you have to pick and choose. With video games, I don't know what it is about board games. With video games, I have the knowledge that I only have the bandwidth for a handful of video games in my life at any given time. And even then, I'm usually only playing one, I just have the theoretical prospect of playing more. But video games, I know that I can't get everything. With board games, I have this weird premise in my head that I should get all of them. Do you get every first-person shooter? Do you get every real-time strategy game? Do you get every single, like, whatever genre you prefer? We don't do that in video games, or at least I don't. Maybe video gamers do. I don't know how bad it is for video gamers. I play video games, I don't consider myself a video gamer. Three of my biggest all-ins, I hope might make this list, but didn't. Too Many Bones, Ankh, and Vindication. So, Too Many Bones and Vindication both fall into the same category. I love those games. There's not a chance on earth I wouldn't have gotten the all-ins on those two games, but ultimately, they are games that I don't... Like, again, Too Many Bones, I still haven't gone through all the base game content. Vindication, I still haven't gone through all the base game content. I'd say the difference is with Too Many Bones, I've branched out into some expansions while not fully exploring the base. And then Ankh, I question whether it's sticking around or not. And also, if you saw my recent Instagram post and you're like, why? What do you mean you question? My son kind of asked me not to get rid of it. He likes playing with the miniatures, and so he saw it in my pile of games going rid of. He's like, and he loves Undead or Alive and Ankh, and he's smart. He knows how to negotiate, and so he's like, okay, can we keep Ankh though? I was like, are you okay with me getting rid of Undead or Alive? He's like, if we keep Ankh. And so I was like, okay, let's do it. And so for right now, Ankh is temporarily staying. I don't know what I'm going to do long term. Like, I'm willing to try the expansion, the Pantheon expansion. And I'm only doing this because I want to play the Pantheon expansion, and my son asked for it. If I don't like the Pantheon expansion, does it still stick around? I don't know. But I like it enough that I'm conflicted enough that my son asking me to keep it is fine. Undead or Alive, I'm more in a rush to get rid of because, again, I think the biggest thing Undead or Alive does for me is the difficulty scaling in Zombicide. I think is the best one with difficulty, and I think, you know, the missions in Deceased or Marvel Zombies, when you get to the harder modes, they are just as much present. The Witcher Old World has been the most satisfying game to buy. Yep, The Witcher Old World was on neither list. I am optimistic I'll be playing through enough of it to not regret it, but I don't know for sure. My true all-in list starts with Unsettled. Monument of the Lost Kingdoms, I went all-in as well. Yep, probably most surprised by Marvel United. Yeah, Marvel United is an interesting one. I have not played through every single character, but I've picked through so many different characters at this point that I have played with, I mean, it gets to a point where I probably shouldn't be getting more Marvel United, but as of right now, I've played through a solid amount of Marvel United, so no regrets there. I have 0 regrets going on Too Many Bones. I also have all ins for Tainted Grail and Nemesis. Yeah, Tainted Grail and Isis Vanguard fall into our category, and either feels for that matter, where there's just so much narrative content that if you're playing more than one game, you're going to have a problem. 6 of these 10 were Kaman? Someone said, guess we know someone's favorite publisher. 6 out of these 10 are Kaman. So Kaman's not my favorite publisher, but I do like them a lot. My favorite publisher is probably going to be like Too Many Bones or Orange Nebula. A smaller amount of content with that much focus, like, you know, consistency. Kaman is one of the probably the most money I spent with the publisher, but half their games stay, half their games go. Again, they were present on both lists. Was it really half the list was Kaman? 10 games I went all in on. Were 6 of them Kaman? Roll the Smog, Master of the Universe, Blood Rage, Marvel United, Cthulhu Let Me Die, Zombicide. 6 out of the 10 were Kaman. Yikes. Did not realize that. Okay. Eyes Original back over Oathsworn with the miniatures. I deluxified things further. I hope you can release the all-in regrets video prior to the end of Nemesis Retaliation. Yes, I did, very specifically so. Although Nemesis wasn't in either list because Nemesis was still a game that I was deciding whether it was even for me. But if I were to put it on a list, I don't think I put it on either list. I don't think I did. But if I were to put it on a list, it absolutely would go on the 10 games I regret going all-in on, just because I think that there's... Did I put it on the list? Now I'm kind of thinking I did, maybe. I think I did. But I was getting rid of it, but I decided to get rid of it after. No, Nemesis is on the list. It is on the list. Yeah, I put it on the list. But I guess I decided after Retaliation. I played through Retaliation. I saw someone commented, is Nemesis Retaliation so good or so bad that I posted I'm getting rid of all my Nemesis content? The answer is neither. It's just inconsistent. I think Nemesis is great, and I think it's a great system that people like. I've had very good games of it, and I've had very okay games with it, and that's not a consistent enough experience for me. It's just not. Like, I don't know what it is. I could play Zombicide, and again, I'm a Zombicide fanboy, I know. I could play Zombicide and lose within the first 5 minutes and still think that was a great game. It might even add to my experience. Nemesis doesn't give me the same feeling in the same way consistently. Again, I would argue, some of my best gaming experiences have been Nemesis, but they're the exception to me. They're the, 1/3 of the time, not most of the time. I would have sworn, based on the plug-and-play mechanics you mentioned, that Final Girl would be up there. You'd be right, if I like Final Girl. I don't dislike Final Girl. I'm just okay with it. When making the decision to go all in, are you playing more solo or with a game group? And then specifically about Death May Die. Death May Die is more with a game group. I would say that more often than not, it's with a game group, but sometimes it's solo too. More often than not, though, a game group. No regrets on Castle Burgundy. I am curious how often the terrain gets tabled for you. So far, every time. So far, most of the time. I think there was one game I played without the full terrain. Most of the time, yeah, but I like it a lot. Too Many Bones was expecting in the top 3. Too Many Bones is an incredible game. It was my number 6 game of all time last year, but the amount of content for it is a different conversation. How do you usually play Unsettled in regards to player count? I would say 2 players is my favorite. 3 and 1 are both good, and 4 I probably would not do. I wish everyone could play Master of the Universe. Yeah, it's a good game. It's a good game. Surprised not to see Final Girl. What about Dice Throne? So Final Girl, I answered already, and Dice Throne is, I think the characters in Dice Throne take up too much space. The reason I'm okay with Marvel United is because I could have like 40 characters in here, or 50, 60, 70 characters in these boxes the way they store, and this would be like 5 characters in Dice Throne. So to me, it was a volume and spacing issue, but Dice Throne does have plug-and-play mechanics. But I do agree that Dice Throne variability between characters and heroes and all that is very similar. So it's a combination of different factors. Okay, let's go through what do we have here. Let me see, 1 second. Who's this John Lennon? Sorry, I'm just saying there's a John Lennon in here who's like, I'm gonna say what he said, but you're an alleged S offender. I saw the reports, and I'm like, I would love to see those reports. I'll be googling them after. Don't get me wrong, but I'd love to see those reports. Twisted Thistle. TMB is really on my radar just now, but there's so much content I have no idea where to start. Would you recommend either Undertow or Unbreakable over the base? I think Undertow only because that's the one that I like. So that's the one I started with, I should say. Unbreakable I have to play still. The real list we need Alex to make, 10 games I regret not having gone all in on. You'd have to get to 10 first. Primal Awakening, worth the all in? I have to get it first, but I do like the game. Hey Alex, question for you. My favorite games like Death May Die that you go instantly all in on, does the investment stop there, or does it also justify paying to paint, or paint yourself? Ooh. I haven't tried to sell painted stuff a lot. I will say, from what I've seen of selling painted stuff, you could get your money back on those things if you do a good job, or if you get a good job, but you have to find the right buyer, which can be much harder. Once you get to certain price points, it's not even a question of whether it'll hold its value, it's just to find the person willing to pay for it. You're lowering your audience, which can make it harder. Corey Christian, I will not ignore your phrasing. Yeah. Sorry, OM is OWS. The Table Foundry, interesting choices. Owen has a huge fan base. Primal's late pledge cutoff date is today. Ooh, good to know. Alex, do you think going all in on games makes them easier or harder to resell and get your money back? It depends on the game, and it depends on whether you're talking about gameplay content or not. The more focused the all-ins are, when you simply have, hey, here's a come on all-in pledge, they usually do pretty well offhand. The more fuzzy it gets when you start getting into, like, here's our all-in gameplay. Here's our all-in gameplay with the playmats. Here's our all-in gameplay with the accessories and the whatever. The more branching out you have all-ins, it gets, I find in the secondhand market, people get a certain fatigue of trying to figure out what they're buying. It can be hard. Sometimes it's easier to just pay the extra $50 and just get the pledge than to try to hunt through secondhand market and be like, did they get this pledge? Did they get this? Did they also buy the add-on here? What about the extra dice? So it can get fuzzy. But all-in gameplays all-in, I think they usually do fine. Coy Christian, I didn't get Spirit Fire. I do have Vindication Unsettled. Yeah, I think it's reasonable for people not to get Spirit Fire because I think you'll get a lot of gameplay out of Unsettled and Vindication, and they are both already more proven than Spirit Fire, which is more experimental. By far my biggest regret in my board game life is missing the Marvel United Kickstarters. They will be making a Season 4. There's no question at all. Now, whether that Season 4 is DC United, or Marvel United, or question mark United, those things I don't know. But there's not a chance on Earth that there's not. I mean, I'd say the chances of there not being another United campaign are similar to the chances of there not being a Zombicide campaign. It will happen. I love Vindication, but weirdly enough, going all in has made it hit the table less. Must be the paradox of choice. Oh, so Sam, I actually had to do a video with somebody at one point. It didn't happen, but I should reach out and do it at some point. But there's a video that we were going to do, not necessarily about going all in, but about box storage and content. So, for example, I don't have any good examples, but let's offhand, I'd say that once you start getting to bigger boxes that are harder to pull out, I do find those get in the way of tabling games. Personally, I find that if I can get all that content into the base game box, it doesn't get in the way quite as much. And so for me, it's specifically a big box issue. Vindication, I have not tabled since getting the big box. I want to table it, but I have that mental hurdle of, okay, I got to go through it and sort it and re-prep how and where everything is. Because once upon a time, my Vindication was pretty easy. I knew how to pull it out, play it, and now I kind of have this new game aspect to an older game. And I think it does depend on the game. I think some boxes, Everdell Complete Collection, have not tabled this since getting the big box, and it doesn't help that they gave me Everdell Farshore, so I'm just like playing Everdell Farshore instead. So that's like also gets in the way. The Witch of the Old World, that one I've been able to table with the big box, although I can't say I love the big box, but I've been able to table it even with the big box, although part of it's how good that game is. But it is an obnoxious box. I would say that the Too Many Bones is a good enough box in these stores and the way you pull things out. They actually did a great job of the all-in chest. I think it is case by case, and a lot of it comes down to the box and your familiarity with the game. I told myself a month and a half ago that I wouldn't buy any board game stuff after Christmas. All I've done is back Nemesis, Retaliation, and Beast Shadow Isles. It doesn't count, right? It counts. Where do you typically sell your board games? Jonathan, typically it's going to be either a combination of eBay, or for cheaper games, I usually use someone, eBay or the Facebook Marketplace, but I usually, for cheaper games, I use somebody else who handles it for me, and he gets half. Practically speaking, it's a time limitation. Between everything I do, I only have so much time, and so the big pledges, I sell those myself because, you know, if it's going to be $400 or something, I'll get the $400, versus when you talk about the, like, the $20, $30 games, I usually give them to him, and he takes half of it, and then he just sells the rest. So it just makes my life a whole lot easier, and I don't have to worry about negotiating or handling every single game. Sub me absolutely does not count. Ooh, you're being an enabler. Will you attend Buckeye Game Fest? I have not. It should be on my radar. It should be, but I have limited time, and I go to too many conventions as it is. Alex, have you pledged for the Taboo system? I have Bad Karmas coming my way. Vampire the Masquerade was less fun to me, and even Bad Karmas. Bad Karmas is more about the promise of what comes next, as opposed to anything else. Devin Talks Tabletop, $5. Thank you, sir. Alex and I had the same conversation about Black Rose Wars and the Seder boxes. Yeah, Black Rose Wars is one of those games that scares me. I have Nova Aetus Renaissance right now, and a part of me is glad that I don't have... It's over here. A part of me is glad that I don't have any of the expansion content, because I think right now I'm still likely to table it, versus otherwise I don't know for sure. Okay. Where are... I scrolled back and missed some comments. I don't know why I'm here because I haven't watched the video we're talking about yet. Bad modeler, that's fine. Alex trying to manage responding to live chat and comments from all of it at the same time. Multitasking at its best. Can Alex talk? Or is it like can Alex talk? Or is it like can Alex talk? I don't know what that is. Are there any other games from Lewis Magic Studios aside from DI that stand out? No, I think Lewis Magic Studios has a bunch of games, and I do appreciate them to various degrees, but to me, DEI is the standout. Now, everyone's going to have their own individual choice, so for example, Nova Aetus is a great game, but I don't know if I still want to play through it. I still enjoyed it, and I want to engage with it more, but it's not their standout hit. For me, DEI is a standout hit, although everyone will have their own standout. And to be clear, I enjoy other games from them, but my standout is DEI. Black Rose Wars is interesting. They have a lot of good things happening in that game, but I also found it very hard to manage. One second. Let me just go through. Only All-In I have played most of the Nemesis, Curse the Last Emperor. Difference between Nemesis and Zombicide could be the tone. One is darker, more pressing, while the other is tongue-in-cheek. So losing quickly in the first is more of a down than the latter. I wonder about that. I hear your point. I think... I don't know. I don't know if darkness is the factor, but I hear the premise. I have to think about it. Paint Stuff Dragon Clips pre-paint is about $950. Looks nice, but trying to find someone to buy the all-in plus paint is like $15 to get money back is hard. Yeah, Brian's right. It's about finding the audience. Marvel Zombies is ridiculous. The store has been selling the all-in for 40% off for months now. I'm still waiting for mine to be delivered. Store has been selling the all-in for 40% off. You're getting the 40%. You're getting Marvel Zombies for 40% less than what it was on Kickstarter? Really? I have to do my research on that one, because that would be... I haven't seen that. When I look online, it's been selling... I have to go look. This is important information for me. Oh, Devin, that is your 20th Super Chat. Thank you. Oh, One Sharp Joe, gifted 5 Board Game Club memberships. Thank you, One Sharp Joe. I apologize, I missed it, because I scrolled back up after Devin, so I missed yours. Jack, my other account got shadow banned from Alex's channel, but I've been painting Deep Rock Galactic figs in order to try and get my money back. Jack, did I shadow ban you for any particular reason? So, just for context, Jack, I don't know your other account. In general, my general rule of thumb on the channel is I don't care if people are... I don't know what you did or didn't do, but the only time I block people is or hide them, I should say. It's not really blocking, it's hiding them. They can still comment, they just won't engage the viewers. Is I hide anyone who engages in what I consider to be a disrespectful manner. Meaning, if you want to be critical of me or other people, as long as it's done respectfully, I don't care. When people walk in and they engage in a way that I would consider to be not the way to engage in face-to-face, I remove it. So I both apologize if I hid you, but more than likely if I saw the comment, I'd probably stand by it. So we'll see. Sweat me, but sorry. And also, welcome back, as long as we keep it all kosher. I forgot it's Wednesday. Hello, everyone. Hey, John Frosty. How's it going? Sam McDavid. I'd love to hear a full set video on the topic. I totally agree. Our tower extensor for Spirit Island tripled our play count of the game this year, going from 6 to 20 because it's easier to set up. Okay, so I'm going to have to go back to this at this point, because we're pretending to multitask. Anyways, great video. Someone who just got the second wave of Chronicles of Junagar, you're not including it, makes me nervous. Yes, I did not include Chronicles of Junagar in this video. Chronicles of Junagar made its way into the second video. There's so much content for that game that I don't think you're going to play through it enough to benefit from all that content. At least when Gloomhaven gives you that much content, they kind of have it incorporated that you're going to be going through the characters and navigating through a large portion of your content. I think Chronicles of Junagar require multiple plays to be able to get there. DEI goes along. Is DEI not going to be on the not worth list? No, DEI is on neither list because I am optimistic that I will play all the content, but I still need time. The sad reality is that I'm always balancing. About half my plays are new content, and half my plays are old content, but that means I don't get to play so many of my games that I love and adore. And I am actually trying to, currently in the process of bringing back my more regular game night, which is more focused on playing games for fun and less for focusing on playing games for, for covering content, although I will play games that are fun for covering content, that happens too. But anyways, yeah, I'm bringing back more game nights to my life, hoping to get more things settled as far as that goes, but having fun. If Teneris is not near the top, then this isn't the real Board Game Co. Teneris is unfortunately not on this list. Teneris made its way onto the other list, I believe. Yep, Arena of the Contest, there we go. I love Teneris. I think it's a great game. There's so much content for it. I will not go through it all. I cannot imagine the Teneris fanboy that goes through it all. And I don't mean fanboy negatively. I just mean the person who's engaged enough with Teneris to actually benefit from all the content. I am shocked by it. I love Teneris, and I've spent hundreds of hours in that game. I am never going to get close to benefiting from the all-in content. Playing it as much as I have has completely cured me from needing to back anything else in the Teneris world, which granted is not necessarily the best thing to say when they sponsor my entire gameplay video, but ultimately I think both things are true. I still highly recommend and encourage people to try Teneris. I think it's an amazing game. Also, I've been cured from the all-in need on that one. What about Too Many Bones? Yeah, cover that one. Can we guess that Wild Descent to the next video? So Wild Descent, why did not Wild Descent? Wild Descent didn't go into the video. I debated, yes. So Wild Descent got one expansion, which didn't really, kind of was plug and play for the most part as far as what it added to the base game. So I don't regret going into Wild Descent in the original video, but I also didn't consider it like a real all-in. And the new stuff coming is more the next campaign. So Wild Descent got neither video. Obviously the next video is a top 10 not worth going all in. Well, yes, I said that. Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving, Board Game Co. Happy Thanksgiving a few weeks late. I'm surprised Teneris wasn't on here. Yep, we got that. I simply do not get the Marvel United love. Perhaps because I only have the base game. So I will say Marvel United will not be for everyone. I also don't think the base game does it justice. I've played the original Marvel United base game, and when I backed Marvel United all in, I played the base game, and I was like, I might be selling this pledge. And then I played more of the stuff, and I really enjoyed it. I do think the Spider-Geddon expansion, or Spider-Geddon base game, does a good job of showcasing what Marvel United can do better than the base game. I think the base game is a little more simplistic. I'll never understand the Marvel United love. Such a mad experience. My wallet is worried there'll be a DC United. Yep, indeed. Okay, I'm missing Terrace Adventures. So a lot of VP comments there. Now we're going to go to the comments on the video of the things I didn't back. We'll jump back and forth as needed. But let's take a break for chat. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. I can't trust Command anymore. Hidden fees, shifting parts of games to other Kickstarters, like episodes of Calamity Die into the comics Kickstarter, and their inability to deliver on time. So hidden fees, I don't know, unless you're referring to shipping in general, but they charge a lot for shipping, but they're pretty transparent about it now. I think Zombicide, Marvel Zombies was the big fiasco there, where they definitely did a poor job communicating there. I think as far as shifting things to other Kickstarters, they've always done promos left, right, and center for other things. So I don't think it's shifting things around. I think they just do promos for things, and so you have to kind of be okay with that, or just not get everything. I don't get everything. Even right now, if you want, we just played through Dark Providence with Travis Chance, the designer, or co-designer. There's Martin Wallace and Travis Chance. But we just played through Dark Providence, and if you pre-order Dark Providence, you get 5 Cthulhu Death May Die figures if you pre-order Dark Providence. And that means that for me, even if I wasn't interested in Cthulhu Dark Providence, I will pre-order Cthulhu Dark Providence because I want every single Cthulhu Death May Die figure. I have played through every single character in that game. Every single one. Well, maybe not the newest ones I have. I have some Iron Maiden ones that can be incorporated. Anyways, but I played through nearly every single Cthulhu Left Me Die character, and I love that game. It's a great game. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and I'm here for it. I will happily buy an entire game. And also, I also like Dark Providence. Please keep in mind, we're doing sponsored content on it. We're doing a sponsored gameplay, which we already did. But also, well, a few things. This is a tangent over here, but whatever. Dark Providence, played through it yesterday. We finished the gameplay, and we got to the end, and there was a little small snafu. And Travis was like, do you mind playing through it again? And I was like, absolutely, we had fun. Let's do it. Let's go for it. I need to review this anyway. So it's going to be a sponsored gameplay and a non-sponsored review. I completely understand if that makes people feel uncomfortable. It would honestly probably make me feel a bit uncomfortable too. So take it with a grain of salt, all that. I will, of course, be disclaiming all things, and I will be separating the time period. So the gameplay is coming out like almost immediately, and the review might be like a month down the road. So like there's some separation. But I get it. I get anyone who's skeptical on that, and I respect that. But I will say that I think the game is very good. I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh, it's the best game ever. But we had a lot of fun, and we're immediately down to play it again. So it happens to be it's a good game, which means pre-ordering it to get those promos makes it even easier. One Sharp Joe. Alex, yes, I have pics of... Oh, that, of the thingy. Got it. Alex, can you move the wire from the top right corner of our view? The wire is in view? 1 second. Oh. Oh, I zoomed out. Huh. I think I'm doing this over here. I have to like wait a second to see. I might have to just zoom in a bit. Let me just see if that moved it. Because I don't think there's an easy way. Oh, I see what happened. Okay, give me a second. Give me a second here. Let me fix this. The real question, by the way, is how many videos has that been in? Because that wire has probably been in like 4 or 5 videos now, because it fell off a bit from where the camera is. In order to have the mic closer to me, the mic's closer. I have a whole wire system. I probably need to do something better, but what I've had worked until the wire slipped a bit. Anyways, what's your most anticipated games of 2024? So, Mattis, I have a few ways. I should do that too. So I have a few things. I did a video of the top 10 crowdfunding games that I'm expecting in 2024 that I'm excited for. I did a video of the top 15 games delivering in 2024 that I'm excited for. I have not done a retail version of this. So I haven't done a retail conversation around which retail games I'm excited for. Maybe I'll do that one too. You haven't seen either of those videos, by the way. Those videos were both filmed. They're all going up over the next several weeks. Have you talked Dominion yet? Oh, I didn't, but I have no regrets on going over in Dominion. That's a good one. I didn't think of Dominion, but I have no regrets. I'm all in on Dominion, and I love it. Do you know some crowdfunding games have shipping prices to South America that are so much cheaper than others for similar weight dimensions? I don't, unfortunately, know at all, unfortunately. Okay. Where are we? Okay. Have we talked Dominion? I missed live test doing finals. How is your Hanukkah? Hanukkah is great. I like Hanukkah a lot. It's a very low-key holiday. It's got some latkes, some jelly donuts. Max, a friend of the channel, dropped off a box of jelly donuts, which was very delightful. Thank you, Max. 2-player account. Hi, Alex. What do you think about DC Marvel United? Do you think we'll see that in 2024? I don't know about 2024. I think we'll see it. Just for the record, again, I don't have any information from CMON that we'll see it. I do not have that whatsoever. I don't know. I have no secret behind-the-scenes information. They haven't told me anything. If they do tell me, not once. I'm assuming it's coming to the extent I'm saying once they tell me. If they ever do tell me for any reason, let's say they're doing content with the channel, I'll elegantly dance around the question as needed or figure things out. But as of right now, I don't have any official confirmation. But I certainly assume it's coming. I do assume. I wasn't certain until we had DC Zombicide. Now that they're working with DC and United, I have to assume. Does hiding an account last forever? My other account is YouTube Premium, and I hate to have to switch this one every time I see Alex go live or want to leave a comment. Jack, send me a... Do you know what comment it was you left? Do you know what it might have been? Because the problem is, I don't have a list. I have a list of the people I hid. But I'll say this, Jack. Shoot me an email with your username, and I'll go in and I'll unhide you. I don't know what it was. I'm curious. I don't even need you to tell me. But tell me if you assume you know which comment got you hidden. Tell me that. But if you shoot me an email, alex@boardgamecode.com with your old username, I'll go ahead and unhide you. I believe in second chances-ish. I mean, the problem is second chances of people who you're not communicating with are harder. Second chances when you're able to communicate is a different conversation. Do you have any house rules you recommend for Marvel Zombies like Permadeath or Hidden Zombie Trader? I think Marvel Zombies has so much content in the expansions that I'd probably dive into those before house rules, so not yet. My house rule for Cthulhu Death May Die is to start a campaign going through the episodes, and whenever characters die, whenever you don't defeat, there's 2 ways to do it. Way 1 is whenever you don't defeat the Elder One, all the characters who died in that episode, they don't, or all the characters in that episode can no longer be used. That's way 1, so those characters are gone. If you don't defeat the Elder God, you have to replay the episode, those characters are gone. Way 2 is, regardless of whether you defeat the Elder One, when your characters die, they can't move forward. That changes the way you play drastically. The reason I don't use that one as much is because I love having characters die going all out at the end. I enjoy Cthulhu Death May Die when you go in guns blazing, knowing you're sacrificing yourself for the good of the team. And I think if I was playing a campaign that punished me for doing that, I think I'd be less incentivized to engage in fun moments. So even though my instinct would be to go that way, I know it's going to make me play the game in a way that's less fun, so I go with the, if you lose, those characters are gone, as opposed to the other rule. Skeptical or not, have you been willing to call out a game's shortcomings and have you been... Wait. Skeptical or not, you have been willing to call out a game's shortcomings and have never been a game is better than chocolate with no downsides. I don't know what that's referring to. What comment were we talking about earlier, Brian? I know we had a conversation, but I don't remember what it was. Brian T. Star Realm's a good example. Small, portable. Painted stuff, Dragon Eclipse. I'm not sure what we're talking about. Anyways, Shiny Marmon, Quacks of Quedlinburg 2-player is an upcoming game they're looking forward to. Ooh, I mean, I try that. I think Quacks as is works great as a 2-player game. Can you name a game off the top of your head that you would give a straight 1 out of 5 rating? No. It's hard. 1 out of 5 is I don't play that trash. I mean, I'm surprised that I gave Epic 7 Arise a 1.5. Like a 1.5. Like a 1 is the lowest rating. Arguably a 0.5 should be the lowest rating. For whatever reason, I just don't have that. So it starts at 1. And you could argue 0, but no systems do 0 as a baseline. So I think 1 is the lowest rating technically. I'm surprised Epic 7 got a 1.5. The reason it got a 0.5 is because there are some aspects that had some degree of fun that elevated above absolute trash. But for a game to get a 1, it's like, again, you have to understand, like, I vet the games I take on. I only take on things that I'm interested in. So I only say yes to something that looks like it has a basic decency of being a halfway decent game. And that doesn't mean that every game is magic and every game is amazing. That does not mean that. But it does mean that my most common rating is a 3.5. My most common rating is, I saw you, you looked good, I vetted you to some degree, I said yes, look at that, you're a decent game. I have a video going out later today. My video later today, by the way, is 6 more small box games. Yes, there's more singing, but it's 6 more small box games, and in that, I think I gave 2 of those 6 a 2 out of 5. They're actually fairly harsh reviews for the most part, just a bunch of roundup ones. But I gave 2 of them a 2.5, a 2 out of 5. I gave, I think, 1 a 2.5, 2 a 3, and 1 got a 3.5. So there are always games that will fall to the left of being a great game, but more often than not, a 1.5 is already hard to earn, let alone a 1. Would you buy a game secondhand? I just bought Gloomhaven with Wooden Inserts. I feel I found a great deal. Am I wrong and overpaid? I buy a lot of games secondhand. More than happy to. J Guess and J Cousin. I expect to see DC United, Star Wars United, and Disney United eventually. So Disney United and Star Wars United, we don't know what they have the license to or what they can work with. But I hope to see Harry Potter United. For whatever reason, I'm not even a Harry Potter fanboy, not the slightest. But I feel that works well for the United system, for whatever reason. Smooth. For Marvel Zombies, do you keep the figures in the plastic trays? I mix them all together. No Zombicide game. Once I decide that I'm keeping a Zombicide game, everything gets jumbled together. I don't care. The plastic trays is so much homework to dealing with setup and all that. I don't think I've ever backed to full all-in because I usually pick and choose what to add. I have a hard time doing that. It's very hard for me. I've intended to, but it's very hard. If the play materials in solid condition, you have found stuff a great deal. More gameplays for Marvel Zombies. It's been on my list for a while. It's been on my list. Like, I have a little schedule and I keep pushing off the next Marvel Zombies gameplay, but it's absolutely on my list. Now that I have the rest of the content, I should be prioritizing it even further. It was referenced having a paid playthrough and review. Oh, yes, thank you. I appreciate that. People can be skeptical, but you have never acted like your opinion was purchased. Ryan, I appreciate that, first of all, very much so. I think that I believe, I think there are conflicts in life. There are absolutely conflicts. The big thing I'll tell people is I'm not immune to conflicts. I remember I had someone, what was it? It was The Witcher Path of Destiny. Okay, so I gave Witcher Path of Destiny a 4 out of 5. And I had a big comment of someone being like, oh, you're being a shill for GameFound, I like your other content, it's such a shame, it's such a this. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I acknowledge the potential conflict of interest in all cases, but I guarantee you that if I felt that there was a conflict in The Witcher Path of Destiny that prevented me from being genuine, I would have just not covered the game. So I'm not saying I'm immune to the conflicts, but I would handle the conflicts by not saying anything, as opposed to handling the conflict by being like, this is a great game, go ahead. Some of you may notice this, but do you see a Nemesis Retaliation review? Do any of you see a Nemesis Retaliation review? It's Awakened Realms on GameFound. I didn't sit there and say, hey, it's a 4 out of 5, it's a great game, it's amazing. I played it and I was like, you know what, this hasn't changed my opinion on Nemesis. This has not changed my opinion on Nemesis. I don't think I'm adding anything to the conversation that my opinion on Nemesis is already there. You will see a video of me getting rid of all the Nemesis talking about it, but there are times I might choose to or not to do content because of conflict, but I will never choose to be like positive because of conflict of interest. That's just, it's not something I'm willing to do. I respect the fact that any individual person coming to the channel, though, doesn't know who I am, doesn't know the track record, doesn't necessarily know... I mean, if you walk into a channel for the first time and you're like, paid gameplay, also unpaid review, if that's your first exposure to that person, and if you just simply nope out and head to another channel, I respect that. I do. For those of you who have stuck around and have seen that I'm pretty consistent about the way I am, for better or for worse, I love you all. Thanks for sticking around. Let's see. I just purchased a 3D printer organizer for Marvel Zombies. I need to go through my printed organizer. I have a 3D printer. I need to mess around with it. Are you planning to come to any conventions in Europe or anywhere else non-USA? I tried to go to UKGE last year, but the pricing of it was just so expensive. It was just hard to justify. SN I do plan on going to, but it's not going to be this year either. It just keeps conflicting with the holidays. Maybe next year. When to go all in? You have the money and you want it. I mean, that's one way to do it. That's certainly an approach. Alex, City of Kings or Darkest Night Second Edition, which one would you choose? Darkest Night, probably. Both of them, I think, are... I haven't played either, for the record. But I know about both of them, and both have been on my desire list for a while, and City of Kings, I think it's more in a crowded space that is not as well received. I think Darkest Night is more generally well received. Okay, back to these... Well, what time is it? It's 1:43. We're still good. We're doing good on time. We're doing good on time. Would love to see a video... Okay. This is a comment on the games I regret going all in on. Would love to see a reverse video of games you wish you fully backed, or games you are happy you fully backed, or even games that need more content and feel like they are missing something. And that comment got 4 thumbs up. Okay. Even though he's asking for a video that I already did and preceded this video, and in this video I say that I did that video. So I'm not even concerned with the comment. People will miss things. I'm concerned that the comment has 4 thumbs up. Now, no disrespect to this guy over here. Nothing. I'm glad you commented, but you're asking for a video that I start by saying exists. Hi Alex, great 2 videos and actually making me rethink some of the all-ins I have where I should pick key ones. What about Super Fantasy Brawl do you still have in your collection? So I had no regrets for going all in while I had Super Fantasy Brawl in my collection. But, because it's very plug and play and it worked well in that sense. I will say that Super Fantasy Brawl didn't last forever. I love what it did and I think it did a great job. But ultimately I think that the gameplay, the characters didn't feel uniquely different enough. I had a lot of fun with it. I played it a bunch of times. I have no regrets about getting it. But it's one of those games that didn't last, unfortunately. I'm so glad I stopped going all in on most campaign stuff I back lately, but there's still a ton for me to go through. Yep, there's a lot of stuff to go through. I definitely have more Vindication than I'll ever manage to play. Same as True for Ice Vanguard. I feel you when it comes to Marvel Champions. So much stuff, but at some point it just became so large, so overwhelming, I stopped playing because I didn't want to go through 3 or 4 different boxes to set up a single player game. Yeah, Marvel Champions is a tough one for me. I both can't imagine getting rid of it, and I can't imagine playing it. I don't know what I'm going to do about it. I love the game, but like, I mean, maybe I should just declutter. Maybe I should get rid of some and keep some, but I just have a hard time with that. Marvel Champions is a hard one. It's a very hard one. I don't want to get rid of it, but at least I'm not getting more right now. Chronos Junior, I went back and forth in backing. I held out and glad I did. Massive Darkness 2 is great. I went all in Season 2. Yeah, I have tons of Massive Darkness content. Way too much. Hungry Gamer, feel the same with Snares Adventures. I sold some of the cosmetic books and didn't back the latest. It's one of my top games of the year. It's on my table now and having so much fun. But even I'm looking at what can I sell off here. Yeah, that's exactly where I'm with Tenaris. I think Tenaris is great. Genuinely one of the better game experiences I've ever had. But also, and this is a separate conversation that we'll have in my top 100 when that goes up, there are games that I've spent hundreds of hours in that have lasted just fine for those hundreds of hours. Gloomhaven, not Gloomhaven, The Cthulhu That May Die, I've spent hundreds of hours in, and it is absolutely one of my favorite games ever. Frosthaven, Gloomhaven, Tenaris Adventures, I spent hundreds of hours in, and all of them have gone down in my rankings. Gloomhaven was my number 3 game of all time last year. It may or may not be in my top 100 this year. It's certainly not going to be high. It may or may not be in my top 100 this year. And Tenaris Adventures, I think, is still going to be in my top 100, but much lower. And that's not because they're bad games. It's because I've seen enough of them that I'm like, oh my gosh, there's like you spend so much time in the system, some games can hold up to hundreds of hours of gameplay, others less so. I got all of them, and keep in mind, it's not a recommendation against those games. It means that when I talk about those games, I'm going to be clear, like, hey, I spent 200 hours in Gloomhaven, and now it's a really good game as opposed to one of my best games ever. But if you get 200 hours out of a game, that's a good thing to begin with. Someone asked on Facebook about Nemesis the other day. I said it's very similar to you. I love the game. It's fun when I get to the table, but I won't be getting the third one. I probably shouldn't have gotten the second. It's an excellent game, but I really only need one version. Massive Darkness 2 is one I absolutely have no regrets. I love every bit of it. Massive Darkness 2 is excellent. Did I put Massive Darkness on my regrets? Did I do that? I think I did. Massive Darkness, yeah, I did, but I think I should have too much. I think that's the issue, but I do like Massive Darkness a lot. It's a really good game. I'm all in on the Marvel Champions with 2 wooden custom storage boxes from One Sharp Joe, I hope. Yeah, I'm all in on Marvel Champions too, but Marvel United, I have no regrets. Marvel Champions, I question. Interesting. Sorry, I'm just looking at text I got. Loving a game in the collector's mindset. It's no longer a practical playtime and budget. To an extent, I am willing to overrule the logic part of me because I love a game. That's why I shouldn't get all too many bones, but I will back whatever they put out for next time too. So I agree with that comment. I may sound nuts, but I already upset myself for going all in on Marvel United Season 3. I have offloaded most of the Season 2 other than the core box and been cutting loose the expansion of Season 1. I hear that. I respect that. For me, I love it. But I do think that there's a lot of Marvel United content, and I don't think most people benefit from all of it. I follow your suggestion on Vindication about the base game having a lot of content already, and I really feel it was enough. Yeah, Vindication, I would highly recommend people get Vindication base game, and if you love it, find ways to get more. I'm having second thoughts about going Ultimate all-in for Daenerys. Maybe a base game would have been enough. I love Daenerys. I think the base game is enough. For me, Zombicide Invader was a game I shouldn't have gone all in on. So, I don't know if I would have been as certain that Zombicide Invader wasn't for me unless I had gone all in on. Because the one of the things Zombicide Invader did right was the last Zombicide to give you a lot of enemy types, and I love that. It's the one thing that I wish we got that in Deceased. I wish we got that in Marvel Zombies. I want more zombie types, and they stopped doing that. I could have left this all behind. I'm not saying I would have, but I could have and should have. Yeah, we all know this feeling. I share some of your regrets. The way you talked about Marvel Champions is Dice Stone for me. Yeah, I respect that. I think Dice Stone, like, for me, the new Dice Stone campaign with X-Men, like, I want the X-Men, sure, but ultimately the main thing I'm there for is Dice Stone missions. I think that did a really good job. The only board game I ever felt was worth going all in was Final Go Seasons 1, 2, and 3. I really like Monster Hunter, still sold all but the main core box. Yeah, Monster Hunter, I think it's a great game. I don't remember if I put it in this video or not, but if I didn't, I should have, because I think that's a base game kind of box for me. I'm going to have to call that guy back. That's my mechanic, because my car decided to break down. So I'm going to call him back. My car broke down. I was pulling out of the driveway, was it yesterday? 2 days ago. 2 days ago, I was pulling out of the driveway, and there's a big snowstorm, by the way. So big snowstorm, I'm pulling out of the driveway, and as I'm pulling out of the driveway, and my visibility is near zero. But I'm going very slowly. I'm inching. I'm looking. It's dark. It's at night. It's snowing. And I suddenly hear a loud, like just a loud thunk. Like I thought I hit another car. And I try to get out of the vehicle, but I put my car in park, and it starts going bzzz. I take it out of park, and it's back normal. I put it back in park, bzzz. It won't, like, whatever. And then I realize it won't drive or reverse. So my car, like, I'm stuck. Did I back into a car so hard that I'm stuck? Because my guy, I couldn't figure it out. I managed to put my car in I leave it in drive because it's not moving anyway, and I get out of the car, and it's nothing. Like, I have nothing around me. I'm not touching anything. I didn't hit a thing. It's the middle of the night. A car comes down the street. There's a snowstorm. They start honking at me. I'm like, what do you want me to do? Does it look like I want to be here? A snowplow comes up behind me. I'm like, I can't move. Hi, bye, figure out a way to go around. Eventually I put the car in neutral and move it. I managed to have a friend come out and help me move it to the side of the road. But ultimately, I'm like, my car won't move. And so I look it up, and according to Google, it's the transmission. Apparently, that's a thing. People have reported that loud thunk and whatever. Transmission is not fun, because that's like a $4,000 repair right there. But hey, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. And I say that with cavalierness that my bank account doesn't have, to be clear. But what are you gonna do? Anyways, I got a call from my mechanic, I don't know, an hour and a half ago, and it looks like it's only the axle. So I'm only out $400, which I guess perspective is everything, because that sounds better than a $4,000 repair to me. So it's good news now. It's also an all-in. It's the price of an all-in right there. This list is basically 60% of my collection. LOL. Good list. Interesting content. I really like the Chronicles expansion for Vindication. Yeah, I'm not saying I don't like certain expansions, but if I haven't needed to get them, 6 gear locks out of 18-ish. Which ones have you played? Want to know who you're missing out on. Okay, so he wants to know which gear locks I've played as. I don't remember all of them. I've played as Tantrum, I've played as Duster, I've played as Stanza, I've played as the bomb-making person, I never remember the name. Is that Tinker? No, I can't remember. I've played as... I have to go look through them. I played both Unbreakables. I played, I think, 3 from the base game, and then maybe 1 more. I'd have to go look. Didn't Alex say before he can't keep up with the Marvel releases? The speed he plays games at, even year he can't keep up. So I think everything comes down to I'm an omni gamer and I play everything. And sometimes I also spend hundreds of hours on individual games. But more often than not, you'll find lots of types of gamers out there. So you'll have a person who has a collection of 20 games and they play Marvel Champions all day long. And that type of gamer can keep up. So Marvel Champions is what you call a lifestyle game. It's one of those games that appeals to an individual who is literally putting all their life, effort, energy into that game. And sometimes people are engaging with some people are able to engage in 2 or 3 lifestyle games. I play thousands of games a year, thousands of plays a year of different games. I think my average play per game a year is like maybe 3 or 4 plays per game. And obviously it varies, you know, I'll get some games like 15, 20 plays. I Castle Burgundy I've played 50 times this year. And then something like Vindication I've played twice. So, you know, even though Vindication is so good, it's so much better than Castle Burgundy, although that's up for debate. Okay, let's go through this over here. How far back am I? Stacy, how are you? Stacy, I messaged you on Discord in case you want to check that out, because my next step is Fiverr. Board Game Officer. Not to compare you to Fiverr, to be clear. Just my next step would be Fiverr. Hello, better late than never. Hi, Stacy. Stanley Chance, thanks. I'll check it out. I'm considering designing my own 3D printing. Hello, Brian. Joe, thank you for the gift sub. Hello, George. John Rolling Soul is a preview of it. You want to check it out. Marvel Champions is easy for me to collect because I stick strictly to my favorites. Mutants and some city level heroes. Yeah, I get everything. I don't have favorites. Too many bones definitely reduces the chance of something making to my table. Inserts to condense B games. See, too many boxes, not too many bones, because too many bones does a good job for me. Too many boxes, I agree with you. Bardelic, as soon as I finish my Jaws of the Lion solo campaign, I shall dive right into it. I hope I can get around to that. Mage Night over the next week between holidays. Love seeing Sleeping Gods, Distant Skies on the shelf. I need to play that soon. Sam McDavid, when you look back on your top 100 and how games shift, is there a game that surprised you and how much it went up on the list compared to last year? No spoilers to where it ended up. Oh, I mean, arguably there's a game that went from not even in my collection to like on my top 100. So I guess there's definitely one that surprised me. Meaning, when I say not in my collection, I mean I had played it, gotten rid of it, played it again with the expansion, and now it might be top 100 material. I tend to wait 6 to 8 months after a game launch to start looking for ones to allow for more options. Hi Alex, do you have a top 3 of Oink games? Am I missing chat over here? I feel like am I missing chat? No. Okay. Top 3 of Oink games. I don't. I like Scout, but Oink games haven't captured my imagination the way they have captured others. And I did not like Dragon and Tiger and the Dragon. In fact, here's a spoiler for those of you watching this. I have a video going up tomorrow, I want to say. That's my top 10 disappointments of the year. And Tiger and Dragon is one of them. All in on car repairs, unfortunately. I'm seriously considering learning 3D design. Makes sense. When are you going to design a game? Possibly never. Possibly when I have time. See previous comment for that answer. I've written rules for multiple games. I don't like the work involved in playtesting and bringing it to life. I like the creative process. In general, it's always a thing. I mean, even just watching my videos and seeing the amount of video content I put out and the lack of editing I do should be an example of the fact that I like the creative process. I don't like the work behind the creative process. Basically, I'm spoiled, and I'm in the fortunate position where I'm able to be spoiled, and it's working out for me so far. But I mean, I would love to design a game and then pass it off to somebody else, literally. And I've done this. I've legit done this. I think I said this on a live stream once, but I actually, CMON has a game coming out, God of War. Michael Shinal is the top game designer for CMON, or one of the top game designers for CMON. 4 or 5 years ago, before I ever did a YouTube video, I wrote a rule set. I was playing through God of War, and I knew CMON had done the card game, and so I reached out to Michael Chanel, and I sent him I wrote rules for God of War. I created a God of War miniatures game. I wrote rules for it, and I sent it over to Michael Chanel and said, hey, I have no clue if you'll ever do anything with this, but like, use it, be my guest. I just want to see this game come to life. Never got a response, never heard anything, and I am assuming, I'm going to have to go look up the rule set, but I am assuming there's a 99.9% chance that their CMON God of War game has nothing to do with what I sent in. But my point is, I like the creative process. I would happily create a game, put together a bunch of rules, and then pass it to somebody else and be like, okay, great, now can you make this a thing so I can play it? I just don't want to playtest or run all the testing and balancing and all those things. Also, it's not great for me too. There's the aspect of, you know, Tom Vassell put out Nothing Personal and whatnot, which is a decent game. But he's like the most famous board game reviewer ever, and he does get flack, infrequently, fortunately, but you'll get flack for like, oh, you're critiquing all these games, look at your game, it's not even that great. Yeah, reviewing a game and designing a game are different skill sets. I can tell you I didn't enjoy that movie without being a director. That's different skill sets, but there will be that crossover of how can you critique these games when you're not even making a great game yourself. And I have to be mindful of the public persona aspect of it. Is there a good place for people that are going to level up to discuss games and what they might be bringing? I believe there is a Discord being created. So, I don't know if it's up yet. I need to send an update, you know, about level up in general, but I believe there's a Discord being created. Alex, I'll go look in Discord. I've just been distracted making Christmas. I get it, Stacey. You're all good. There's no rush. Well, not there's no rush, but at some point I have to, like, check other options. Which pledge level of Nemesis Redemption did you back? There is no Nemesis Redemption. There's Nemesis Retaliation, and I did not back it at all. If Awakened Realm chooses to send me a copy, I'll do a nice unboxing, and then I'll probably put it in the Level Up Retreat library. I do not think Nemesis is a game that I need in my collection. I think it's a great experience. I'm not against playing it again. I just don't need... When I look at all the games that I'm trying to cull to have the best possible library for me, I don't think Nemesis makes the cut. Who's your favorite pop culture hero villain? I don't know. I mean... Pop culture, like, you mean like straight up, you mean superheroes? Are we talking superheroes here? I mean, Batman's always been pretty solid. Because he's easy to identify with because he's got no powers, so it's a little easier to be, you know, with him. Villain-wise, Loki, I guess. I mean, Marvel did a great job really bringing Loki to life, so I'm boring, I guess. Batman and Loki, I'm super creative. Alex, have you heard any board game deliveries being affected by the Red Sea issue? I haven't even heard of the Red Sea issue. What's the Red Sea issue? Send your Nemesis stuff to me. I don't mind duplicates. Devin is getting all my Nemesis Season 1 and 2. I have it all boxed up. I need to ship it out. But yeah, Nemesis gets Season 1 and Season 2, and we'll see what happens next as far as other stuff. But why isn't it going to Level Up Retreat? That's a good question, actually. I think because I have all-ins. I think Level Up Retreat would want like a base game. I think the all-ins, that's actually an interesting conversation. I probably should have put the base games and sold the all-ins, but whatever. Devin's my friend, and you have obligations to your friends. What is the next board game that you are most excited coming in the next year? I mean, I could tell you, but I literally just filmed a video for that, so I can't tell you. I have 2 videos coming up on the channel in the next, you know, few weeks that will be covering, you know, crowdfunding campaigns I'm excited about and board game deliveries that I'm excited about. Okay. I went all in on Monster Hunter. I regret nothing. The game is amazing. Slight disagreement. I think 1 core is fine, but if you're getting the game, you should get the armory for other weapons. I hear that. I agree with that. That's so I do think the armory in Monster Hunter World does give you a lot of flexibility. I do think a lot of people won't start with it though, but they'll start with the core, so you almost have to be playing it a second time or be willing to incorporate it to benefit from it. But I do agree. I have also found that if I do not keep the game, it's better to have everything to sell than only parts. I get better return because people want everything. But I do feel like you have so much content I'll never get to. Speaking of more content I don't need, I ordered the Vindication promo cards. Big mistake. You should not do so. Oh, by the way, just as an apology, a bunch of people bought. I have these Vindication promo cards, my own promos for Vindication, that a bunch of people have bought, and I guess some of you are probably watching right now. I have to get them out. I'm fully aware of them. I've been slow and behind, but I will be getting all those out. So if you sent me $6 for the promo cards, you are getting them. Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. I'm sorry. Hey Alex, can you comment on the Reggie Games Primal Awakening? The shipping price is almost double what they said. Whoa. They're now refusing to give refunds. Makes me have a lot of doubt in the game because the creator believes they cannot resell the game. What do you mean the creator believes they cannot resell the game? No, the desire to not give refunds is a logistics nightmare. It doesn't mean that they can't resell it. That's a logistics nightmare. Yeah, but as far as that, I didn't follow that. I did hear about that before. I did not follow that. And it sucks. That kind of thing does suck, and that's why, like, over on GameFound, they have the concept of the stable pledge, which is the idea that and again, work for GameFound, so slight chill here, I guess, but GameFound has the idea that a creator cannot do that and be on our platform. Now, effectively, the stable pledge is, it's kind of a tough situation, because the stable pledge says if your prices increase by more than 10%, then the creator is obligated to give you a refund. Now, what can the creator do if they're in a situation where they're going bankrupt and shutting down? Nothing. GameFound can't enforce that. The creator won't give refunds, and you're stuck in your situation, and it is what it is. Like, so it doesn't stop bad situations. What it does stop is when the creator has a window of choice to work in where they're choosing not to, but they have the leeway to do so. In which case, you wouldn't be allowed on our platform. If you violate the stable pledge, you would not be allowed on our platform to continue to, sell things. So it is a benefit of GameFound. I shouldn't be saying all this stuff because, like, I'm actively trying to convince all creators to come to GameFound, including Reggie Games. I think general rule of thumb, the shorter the game, the more variety you need. The longer the game, the less of those games you need, and the less expansions you need. So a big thing I focus on is variety. I like game variety a lot. But I don't know if I agree with the shorter or longer aspect. I do agree it's more of an issue with shorter games and less of an issue with longer games. But I just like variety for the sake of variety. I don't want to play a game that feels the same for a big part of the game. And then, in general, longer or shorter. We are 2 o'clock, which means we might close up anytime soon. Darkest Dungeons is my regret. I doubt I'll get the expansions to the table by the time they arrive. If they arrive. Alto Quest, because it just did not turn out to be that good. Yeah, not for me, unfortunately. I love Master Darkness 2, and I figure I'll play the content, all the content eventually. So the words eventually are scary to me, because let's say something like The Witcher Old World or DEI that are recent additions to my collection. I don't mind, being mindful as far as do those when you have a recent addition to your collection. I don't mind the discussion around holding off judgment. But if a game's been in my collection for 2 years and I still haven't played all the content, I could say eventually, but there's always new games too, which makes it hard. This hurts my brain. You're right, but it hurts. For the record, Ice of Vanguard is the best campaign I've ever played. I will complete it. I like Ice of Vanguard a lot. There's a reason it hasn't left my collection, even though I haven't played the final version so far. Most games have extra content, too much content, you just don't have enough time. Sometimes it's filler and would have been a better product if more time spent editing. However, I do like base game bling for games I love. I like bling and I like more content. I do. You've stayed for a while, you had too many Dice Stone. Why did you back the X-Men one? Is it just I really want it? I bought Season 1 2 on Marvel Dice Stone. I wanted Dice Stone missions more so than anything else. So missions was the main compelling aspect. Let's see. You're really funny, Alex. At some point, this is a comment worth addressing. You're really funny, Alex. At some point in history, you tell us how amazing these games are. 1 to 2 years later, you regret your decisions. I thought I made it pretty clear. This is not decisions that I regret. This whole video of the 14 games that I shouldn't have gone all in on, I made a point of saying in the video, I do not regret it. I'm just saying you probably shouldn't. There's a difference. There's a difference between those two statements. There are times I quote-unquote regret things, although regret's a relative word. There's not that many things I regret, but there are some things that didn't work out for me, but yeah, it's not a regret thing. Yeah. If you regret, then sell things you don't like and don't make videos about your regrets, my opinion. I get it, I killed 2105, but yeah, it's not a regret. I've become much more disciplined in my game purchases. Yes, very much so, Phalanx. Or not Phalanx, Hacksun663. I have also become more disciplined and back fewer things than I used to because I have too many all-ins that unfortunately have not made it. Vindication promos. Where do you have those posted? Can you share via Patreon? I had it in the link of the video, but I guess I'll try to share it via Patreon too. We'll see. I was with you on most of these, but you could not be more wrong about Marvel Champions. It's not just more of the same. So if I said it's more of the same, I take that back. I didn't mean to say it's more of the same. I just can't get to it. I can't get to it all. The average man who is 30 has an 84% chance of living till 70. Not horrible odds, but sure bet. This is relevant to the video. I said something about that. I talked about middle ages and regrets. I personally regret buying the Vindication box. I just didn't love the game, and there's so much content in that box. I would not recommend starting with the box. It's a hard one. Although they did have a good price in it, which makes it a hard conversation. Okay. Maybe you don't have the all-in versions because how could one person play all these games? Except I do have a video of 10 games I do play all the all-in stuff. Where is He-Man? He-Man is on the other video. Master of the Universe is one I don't regret. I do love, let's see. So, another interesting comment. I do love your content, but I do wish you were more able to actively say that you flat dislike or even hate a game. You always backpedal anytime you almost say anything you don't like or even hint at. So, I get that, except for two things. One is, that's the week I put out the Epic 7 Arise video. But more importantly, I usually don't dislike most games. I usually don't hate games. It's the exception, not the norm. Again, if you self-vet your content, which I do because who has time for bad games, you're going to end up with a lot of mediocre games. Mediocre. Not bad, but mediocre. So mediocre games are a dime a dozen. Games that are good, but not amazing, are a dime a dozen. But if you're not going to hear me say I hate games or dislike games that often, there are times I'm frustrated by a game, but they are so much the exception. So much the exception. You mentioned Marvel United doing Marvel Dice Stone. Yeah, that might have been a mistake there. Anything might come on, most Kickstarters, to be honest, complete waste. Unmemorable games that won't stand the test of time. 17 seasons of Zombicide, 3 seasons of Marvel United, 2 seasons of Cthulhu Death May Die, all disagree with you. The Command puts out good games. You don't have to like them. You could be against the miniature bloat. You could be against all the people who just like are suckers for Command campaigns, but they sell because they're popular. They do a good job. They make good games. They make great games. Great games. All right, I think we're mostly done with skimming the video chat. Hello, Sweden. Hello from Sweden. Have you played Unmatched Adventures? If you're referring to Tales to Amaze, I have Tales to Amaze finally, and I can't wait to play that one. What types of pleasure levels would you say you are backing and spoiling a little bit in campaign in terms of value? I don't fully understand the question, so I can't answer that. The sarcasm, I'm telling Devin, you should. Omega Rocker, did you have a better experience with Resident Evil versus Nemesis? Yes, I like Resident Evil a lot. For me, Resident Evil is the game that I think Nemesis is for others, but I think Resident Evil doesn't have the same highs. My best games of Resident Evil have not been as good as my best games of Nemesis, but it is more consistent for me and what it does. What games would you suggest for a Nemesis and Resident Evil lover? Flashpoint is probably a good one. Flashpoint, I can't remember the full title, but there was a Kickstarter. It's not yet delivered. I think it has some of the same vibes as both those games. Did you get a review copy of Storm Raiders? Shem Phillips design from Argus Games. No, I don't. I don't think I'm on Shem Phillips' previewer list. I think I've gotten 2 review copies from them in the past, but I'm not on their previewer list and not high on their reviewer list, which makes sense. I don't love most of their games. I like their games and loved Wayfarers. And Hadrian as well, but even that I'm done with, I think. I want Nemesis Retaliation. Another stream I constantly have to hop in and out of. Hard to ask questions. I late back to Unconscious Mind because of your professed love for it, waiting patiently for it. Have you had any more time with it, and do you still feel the same way? I do still feel the same way. It was in a video of top games in 2024 I'm excited to receive that I just filmed and will be going up soon. But I have not had more time with it. So half a yes. Okay, question. What would you rather be? Would you rather be a duck, true or false? Would you rather be a duck is a question. True or false is not. True or false would be, you would rather be a duck. True or false would be a question. Would you rather be a duck? True or false is not a question I can actually answer. But no, I would not rather be a duck. I don't think ducks can play games nearly as effectively as humans can. The fingers really do a lot for like the whole game playing. Random question. How would you improve the Zombicide second edition gameplay? By buying a different Zombicide. Oh, Norin, hello from Sweden. Have you played Unmatched Adventures? Yeah, I answered that when I came back to you. I regret going all... Whoa. I'm not even going to finish that sentence. This is a short video, right? Isn't the answer always? Successful Geek. It's a short video when you watch it on 2x speed. No one has time to watch Alex on regular speed. I agree with you. When I timestamp my videos, I timestamp them on 2x speed because who's got time for that? That'll be later for me when I catch up. Somebody works today. Petition to make Successful a mod. Oh, I guess I could do that. Add as moderator. Standard moderator. Successful, you're a moderator. Boom, there you go. What type of pledge levels do you feel you've chosen that were not really needed to have the best experiences, rather just bling? Oathsworn? Castle of Burgundy, Merchants of the Dark Road. There's lots of just bling. Dead Reckoning. There's lots of just bling pledge levels out there. I tend to prefer gameplay. But that is it. That is everything. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. It is 2:10, and I have more videos to film. Lots of things to do. This has been an absolute pleasure seeing all of you as usual. And Applebee's, thanks for hanging out and thanks for being a member. I appreciate you. We'll be back. We'll be back with more stuff. I'm going to go try to film 2 more videos right now because I have 2 hours till the kids get home and I would love to get things done. More things done. I've already had a decently productive day. Thanks so much, everyone. I will see you and have a good one.